Good morning, everyone. My name is Eltimar, and we are going to be continuing our Let's Play of Disco Elysium. Where we left off last time, we were doing an autopsy, and we need to continue to autopsy the body. So, let's check internal examination summary. Central nervous system, he says, then concludes abruptly, I have nothing. Do you have anything on this man's central nervous system? Of course. There's a moral to be drawn from it, a moral to the story. If I may add the moral of the story, and what would that be? He looks up at you inquisitively. The dead man looks, too, with barely contained excitement to hear the moral of his story. The blood is very vulnerable to compromises in its blood supply. The lieutenant grins. I think that may well be the moral of every story, officer. Alright, N.A. Good. Musculoskeletal. Purge fluid is coming from the mouth. He gets close to the mouth hole, eyes squinting from the stench. Not injury related. Eyes and tongue protuberant. Hyoid bone. Let's see. With his eyes almost closed, the lieutenant puts his hand on the dead man's throat and begins to massage it gently. A rotting smell erupts from the mouth. Purge fluid runs down his lips, black and viscous. You hear cracks as the lieutenant moves his sharp fingers inside the flesh like the creaking of an old house at night. Yeah, jack that fucker off. The hyoid bone is fractured, he says after a while. The rest of the musculoskeletal system is intact and unremarkable. I write it down. Back hunched, as if in prayer, he begins to pry open the dead man's jaws. Respiratory system. He stops to exert more force. Both hands are used. Oral cavity shows no lesions. The victim has received dental implants, possibly after a combat wound. Mouth swollen, hemorrhaging present in the muscos of the lips and mouth. I look inside the dead man's mouth. No scream, no sigh of relief rises from the darkness inside. It's humid there. Sickly sweet air unlike anything living. You feel like you're about to throw up again, straight into the mouth of his... Look deeper inside. Uh-oh. It's hard. Once more you taste stomach acid in the back of your throat. A contraction. Your throat pumps a little. Something from your stomach and into your mouth. You're forced to swallow just to keep looking. Inside you see darkness. Just a mess of meat and darkness. Mute silence as always. The lieutenant lets go of the jaws. The mouth snaps shut before you. Hemorrhaging, present in mucus, he repeats impatiently. I write down. He wipes his brow. Hepatobilary? N.A. Why don't I have anything? He looks at the corpse. Stomach with a mixture of tiredness and disgust. Are you a hepatobilary expert? Hepato means liver, and biliary, the gallbladder, and bile ducts. Am I an expert in these things? Nothing in your alcohol-soaked memory directs you to having forensic expertise on either one. I don't think so. Neither am I. And that's it. That's it. Right, N.A. Same for toxicology and serology. Both. Unless you have untapped reservoirs of knowledge there. Reservoirs? No, but they do take obscure trivia and odd tidbits. Would obscure tidbits and odd trivia fit the fields? No. The completionist in me wonders if there's something we could still do. Like a toxicology screening? He looks at the monster. At this stage, I doubt processing will find anything, even if he was brimming with cocaine, but still, you should add a request. Alright, NA and add toxicology request. Cardiovascular. The body exhibits heavy lividity. Blood is gathered in the feet, hands, and neck. Hypostasis is visually consistent with the hanging. Write it down. Gastrointestinal. He breathes a sigh of approaching relief. This is the last field on the list. He looks around, to the ground, to the pool of feces there. This'll do. Then he touches the corpse's bloated lower abdomen briefly and says, digested, semi-solid food in stomach. Voila. Write it down, but omit the voila. What's next on the list? Description of the injuries. Summary. Let's see, he tilts his head. We have bite marks, contusions on the head and chest, a ligature mark encircling the neck. You'll need 3 fields, leave a 4th one too. Be thorough if you want maximum results. What about the injuries we have afflicted? Oh, he looks incredulous. So we inflicted them? This is a... Okay, so I have inflicted. Okay, so there's a spin-stabilized munition from a KLA-990 muzzleloader lodged in his lung, and an incision in the thorax from a chain cutter. There's a pause. I wouldn't mention those. Better not to muddy the waters. I agree. The waters are muddy enough. See, those pigs are fucking corrupt, the boy says, or nods approvingly. Why don't you fuck them if you love them so much? Now, injuries. Bite marks. He nods. Head, chest, scalp, bite marks. Injuries. Predation by birds has caused damage to his body. Odontologist does not need to be consulted. Write down. And your opinion, officer? Beneath the description there are 2 boxes waiting to be ticked. B. Non-fatal post-mortem. Agreed. Next injury. Contusions. So the scalp bleeds from a post-mortem head injury, a stone. The injury does not have the rim of an early inflammatory response. A perpetrator on the scene has confessed to causing it post-mortem. At maximum velocity, fucko. Has confessed to causing it, quote, at maximum velocity. Write it down. Congealed blood sticks to his scalp and chest where countless stones have hit the dead man. Beneath the description of injury, 2 boxes. Non-fatal post-mortem. Right, next, ligature mark. A dark red braided ligature mark encircling the neck with a gap on the nape measuring, let's say, 7 centimeters. The hyoid bone is fractured and the cervical column intact. I see hemorrhaging on the skin above and below the ligature mark. Depth of the mark, 1 centimeter. No signs of clawing on the neck. Write it down. Below the note, 2 customary boxes wait to be ticked. The man's head jerks to the side, awaiting your judgment. The neck ring around his neck is visible. Think for a moment. There's time. Don't rush. Opinion. Fatal injury. That's it. He cracks an uneasy smile. We've established the cause of death. It's not much, and it leaves much to be questioned, but it's a start. He produces a small black plastic roll from his jacket. A body bag. Let's wrap this up. I pronounce this field autopsy over. First, how'd it go? Well, we established a probable cause of death. Some would say that that's the goal of an autopsy. We also requested a tox. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go back in time for a minute. We're going to go back to the quick save. We'll just quickly breeze through this again. There was a conversation choice that we could have put, and I wanted to see what it was. I didn't realize it would lock it out after we decided that stuff. Look at that, write it down, don't have anything, am I expert, don't think so, and that's it, write NA, both, screwdrivers, completionist, NA, write down, but omit the voila, description of the injuries, what the injuries we inflicted, team effort, blah blah blah, water, bite marks, write it down, non-fatal post-mortem, contusions, okay, what's the 4th injury field for, there we go, nothing, just in case, oh, that's all it says? Oh. Wonder if we just put ligature mark. What if we say non-fatal post-mortem? The lieutenant falls silent abruptly. Why do you say that? I'm serious, I don't think this was the injury that killed him. Okay, why don't you think it was fatal? Why weren't his hands tied? Big man like this, I'd tie his hands when marching him to the gallows. Honestly, I'm not sure there were marks on his wrists. That part got blurry for me, the stench, he covers his mouth, but you're right. I was ready to call this, now I think we should leave it empty, at least for the time being. Now we do it. How did it go? Blah blah blah. Toxicology screening. Okay, it was he looks for the right words, an irregular field autopsy. We did not establish the cause of death, which is supposed to be the goal of an autopsy, but personally, I do not see this as a parameter for success. We also requested a toxicology screening. That was thorough. The results should arrive in a couple weeks if we're lucky. I would not hold my breath. What else? We were thorough with the list of injuries too. We described them all in detail. What's there to say? Given the circumstances, it was a professional field autopsy. What now? I need a copy of that autopsy form, then I'll drive him to Faubourg. I rip out a copy of the autopsy pages for processing. He looks at the dead man one more time, then at the slip of red paper in his hand, then at the corpse again. You tilt your head, also looking at the corpse. Sure we didn't get everything. There's always something. Let's try. Tell me, who are you, dead man? I'm gone. I can see you're gone, but who are you? I'm a joke, look at me. There's nothing funny about you. There's nothing funny about jokes either. Who were you when you were alive? A killer. A motherfucker and a killer. Got a question for you. Go ahead, Gobo. Where have you gone? Into the wide pale yonder. Where's that? In the past. Way out in the west. What is happening? What do you mean I'm talking to you? It's the power of your black frothy liquid starts to bubble on his lips. Imagination. Go ahead, ask me more questions. You fucking love questions. Why do I love questions so much? Because you're a copperoni. Look at all of them go. Do you want more questions? Yeah, give me questions. Here you go, you loony. Is my name Rooney? Fuck no, you're not Rooney. I do strike myself as a Rooney. No, you don't. Between you and me, your name is probably Harry. That's right, stupid boring Harry. Harry the motherfucker. Why do I feel like I've forgotten something terrible? Because you have. I hate you, you stink and you're boring. Do I remind you of someone? A child born with Muller's disease, harlequinism, grown up miraculously. Myself in the bathroom mirror. There you go, look at that. Bright kid. We're birds of a feather, you and I. Soon you'll be just like me. Just keep drinking and have a good time. It's a matter of weeks. Feeling nausea, vomiting, tenderness or pain in the liver area. Tiny red lines on the skin above waist level. More like days, Cabo. The clock is ticking, your liver tells you so. Enough. Let's try and search him one more time. I succeeded, oh my god. Your arm reaches out and your eyes close as if by their own volition. It's dark all around. You feel cold, dead flesh through the latex glove. It's right under the palm of your hand. His face, his cheeks, his nose, his fat swollen lips, like a rubber spider. Your gloved hand crawls on his features. Everything is silent all around. They crawl up his nostrils. They are swollen shut. You really need to push to get through. Push. Only the little one fits. The flesh changes shape as you bore into it, searching for something in the cartilage. What the fuck is he doing? You hear a voice squeak. It sounds very far away. The thing you're looking for, it's not there. Crawl out, spider. Up with the mouth. The oral cavity is cold and moist. A ball-like tongue attaches itself to the base of the mouth, lolling like a scallop. You're on the right track. Play with it. This feels right. The tongue moves freely in the cavity. The mucus of the mouth is slippery, fragile, even through the latex. From the soft meat, the teeth are budding. Hard pearls of bone in the gums. In the back of his mouth, can you feel it? You're so close. Rip his jaws open now and look in. I look. A vision of black and dark red death pried open by your hands and studded with teeth. Looks like he's laughing. Death fumes rising from his throat. And there, in the back of his mouth, above the bell of the uvula, right in the soft palate, you see a hole, barely visible in the human eye. It's swollen shut, almost vanished, no darker than 0.4 centimeters in radius. The edges appear darkened. An abrasion collar? This is what we're after. Say abrasion collar. Abrasion collar? Kim looks in. There's a pen in his hand. His notebook is open at the copy paper. Kuno is silent. I touch it with my finger gently. A black trickle of liquid runs into his throat from the wound. Put my finger in. Your next finger fits right in there. A tight tunnel of flesh opens up. Tissue damage. Wide enough for 2 fingers. As you push both in, you reach through his mouth right into his brainstem. The fuck is happening? Oh shit, see? Brainstem? Yeah, that's what this part is called. Feel around first. The basal ganglia feels clumpy. What entered here is torn apart his reptilian complex. This man will never sleep again, never wake. Push deeper. Your yellow fingers slide into the remains of the limbic system. There's no resistance, it's gelatinous. The slug-like structures are damaged too. The tearing extends deep into both hemispheres. This is what he used to regulate his emotions with. There's a cavity cut between the hemispheres. Lieutenant answers with the sound of his pen on paper. Fucking cavity, see? Kuno's voice is hushed. Push deeper. Your fingers are all the way now, reaching towards the inside of his skull. The cavity goes further, but the entry wound isn't wide enough to allow the rest of your hand to follow. Wriggle in. Your fingers reach towards the skull. His cerebral cortex feels like jelly, cold jelly. Strange fluid streams down your wrist as you push deeper until you feel it, the tip of your finger. The ice-cold serrated metal. Its edges cut right through the latex into your finger. I fish it out. What is it? You pick the object with your index and middle finger. It feels sharp, like metal. With your face twisting from pain and concentration, all you need to do is just slowly pull my fingers out. The inside of the head feels cold and smooth like a glove. As you pull out, sweat dripping from down your brow, careful not to lose the prize between your fingers. With a plop, your hand emerges from the mouth. A garden glove is you're covered in blood right up to the wrist. Between your fingers, a small flower, a blossom made of lead. Fucking beautiful. A bullet. The lieutenant puts it in a bag, marked evidence under it, drop it in. The bullet falls in the bag, leaving a smattering of blood on the plastic. He raises the bag under his eyes and says, unknown caliber, rifled, some kind of brittle alloy, fractured on impact. Can I have it? Of course, you deserved it. The lieutenant drops the bag in your hand. It feels light. We need to add an item to the injury list. Injury 4. Oval entry wound with abrasion collar, soft palate, back of the mouth. High velocity, temporary cavity, and brain tissue. Small exit wound on the occipitant. He underlines the injury forcefully. How does that sound? Sounds just about right. Opinion, fatal injury. You're goddamn right. Click, click, close pen. And one last thing we should amend. Injury 3, ligament mark, new opinion, non-fatal postmortem treatment. He's proposing the bullet was the real cause of death and the hanging an attempt to conceal the fact. The ligament mark, the fractured hyoid bone, it was all treatment. Yes. And the belt around his neck, the hanging, even dragging him to the yard. All of it was done after this man was dead. Agreed. He nods. I have my doubts since you showed me the tracks. Why did they carry him over? Why not march him? I thought. There was no satisfying explanation. Find the bullet before you get fooled. Gained experience, 30. We also leveled up. There have been other signs too. Small things. We were right on to assign the hanging as a cause of death, as the perpetrators expected we would. No such luck for them. We didn't fall for it, he thinks. There's pride there. There is, of course, the real possibility he was both shot and hanged. Maybe they shot him while they hanged him. To put him out of his misery, he thinks it's possible, but it does not explain all the other dubious things here. The lack of struggle, primarily. I may be intellectually sloppy, but I prefer one theory at a time, and this just smacks of treatment to me. Why would they do this? That's for us to find out, but this, it will make finding them just a little easier. Why would anyone do this? To hide something. The real killer, the real motivation? What really happened here? I think I need to wash myself. Oh, he nods. You really do. I'm glad to hear you say that. Your room in the Whirling and Rag should come with a bathroom. Be sure to make use of it in the evening. Maybe the bullet Eltimar answers. Yes, should we take a closer look at it? I'm certain it has more to tell us. This little thing could reveal so much about the weapon that shot it. What happens next? Proceed. We bag the corpse and carry him to the holding pen of my Kinema. I can transport him to processing myself, but I will be gone for the rest of the day. You'll be gone? What should I do in the meanwhile? Work on the case, tend to personal matters, try not to do anything too dangerous. An officer needs backup in a neighborhood like this. I'll leave that choice to you, and one more thing. He looks in the eye. Great work, detective. After you bag the corpse, Kim will leave the party until tomorrow morning. You can do side tasks, and even the main case, but it may be more difficult. Plan his exit accordingly. I guess. Yeah, he can just take the body. We don't need the armored boots, I guess. But I kind of want the boots. Let's leave for now. It's only 5, so we have some time to kill. Let's have a level. We have 3 skill points to put into things. We should probably look up some of these skill challenges and figure out which ones we want to do. Alright, so the rhetoric one is still impossible. The backyard wall is also impossible. The map wall interfacing is just challenging. We could do another interfacing skill and go to the map wall. That might be a good idea. Let's do that. We have a bunch of skill points, so we can do that. Interfacing is where? Under Mortarix? Yeah, it's right there. Level up. Alright. Let's go to the map place. Maybe we can actually use the map of this area. That would be kind of neat. I still need to get up there at some point. Who's that? I don't recognize that person. You see a sturdy woman humming to herself. She seems to be browsing books. 1 second. Need to do this. You memorize the title. Loose 87, Radio City. Seems important. Is that Loose Radio City you're reading?
Yes, sci-fi.
She says without reverting her attention from the book. Who are you?
No one. I'm just a working class woman.
She looks up briefly. She doesn't really want to be disturbed that much. If she's such a working class woman, why isn't she working? Shouldn't a working class woman be working?
Not all the time. Right now I'm browsing books. Even a working class woman needs something to read.
She pauses. I'm a
I
policeman.
know you are.
Everyone can see that. The rectangles.
He points to his sleeve. Do you need the help of a
What
policeman?
with?
She tries hard to focus on the book stand. What with? A lot of things. For example, people tend to go missing. Maybe your husband's missing. My husband? No, he's not. So where could he be? I don't know. At home now? Drinking with his friends? Working? Where's this going, officer? So what I'm hearing is you don't really know where your husband is. Yes, but... She looks around and takes a deep breath, a little annoyed. I don't really need to know where my husband is. Not all the time. Wouldn't you like to? No, she looks you straight in the eye. Her foot is tapping nervously. I can totally help you find your missing husband. Why are we still talking about this? I haven't lost my husband. Maybe your children are missing. No, absolutely not. Her words come out quick as a gunshot. Okay, where are they? Are you a police officer or a nanny? She's definitely disturbed by now. I police whatever I want. Where are they? They're not missing, sir. You know where they are. They're at home, smoking. Given the ladder of vices a chance. They're at home, right? Smoking cigarettes? What? That's just... My daughters are perfectly fine. They're with their friends down in Jamrock. There's nothing to worry about. They're almost grown up now anyways. They're past the age and need me protecting them from everything now. I'm afraid the danger now is greater than ever. Tell me, how old are they? My youngest, Jolly, is just shy of 16. Jenny is turning 18 next month. But we shouldn't even be talking about them. And can you describe their appearance and features that stand out? Something to make identifying a little easier? Why do you need to know this? Haven't I repeatedly told you they're not missing? That they're in Jamrock safe? And at, well, some stupid party? It's for the investigation. I'm trying to be professional. There's no investigation here, I can tell you that. She picks up a book and tries to concentrate. A flock of seabirds passes by. Maybe your cockatoo is missing. I don't mean to disrespect, sir, but you are being a bit of a cockatoo here. For what it's worth, I agree, but cockatoos can't be stopped when they get like this. It's better to indulge them at this point. Ma'am, I was asking about your cockatoo. Is it missing? I don't even have a cockatoo, and guess what? It's a trap. Never say what. What? Even if I had, it wouldn't be missing. Alright, cockatoo not missing. Just wanted to make sure. Great, she turns her attention back to the stand. Just one more thing. What did you mean about me being a cockatoo? Nothing. Go read up on them if you're so interested. There's a book in the store. Maybe you should. What if the cockatoo is your astral captain or your heraldic bird? Actually, that's what I'm going to do. Thanks for the tip. Great task. Wonderful. The store is open. I watch her browse books. Her hands move over the book covers. The tips of her fingers look rough, stained with yellow. But it seems like she has spent a lot of time smoking. Another comrade. Years of labor are pressing down on her shoulders. She deserves a hug. For all the work she's done for mankind, give her a hug. You step in and close your hands around his foreign body, wandering astray in touch. There's a small movement beneath your hands as you shut your eyes. Then a tiny voice breaks out and asks, "What is happening?" She seems confused. Your hands are wrapped around her polyester coat. The fabric feels cold, moist from the sea nearby. Keep hugging her. The situation is oddly intimate. Your cheek is pressed against her shoulder. Her hand is trapped between your chest. 5 seconds passed, and her passing seemed so unimaginably long. Then she coughs and says again, what are you doing, officer? Let's talk. More feeling. Keep your eyes closed. Soak in the closeness. See what feeling entails. I am fighting for the working class. Fighting for it? How? She hasn't let go of your embrace yet. One hug at a time. Oh, there's a strange sensation as the woman strengthens her grip. She's hugging you back. Guess it's better than nothing. Keep fighting on, my fellow comrade. Then she breaks up the hug, her cheeks flushed. Anything else I can help you with? That's all for now. I'll let you read. The woman before you nods and turns back to her reading. This is the most bizarre game. I mean, I love it, don't get me wrong, but it's just... some of the things you can do are just so strange. Like, we are straight up a crazy person just hugging random people in the street. I have a feeling if I tried to hug some random person in the street, it would not go nearly that well. Looks like Guillemets de Million. That hair poster. Let's go do the map thing. Oh wait, there's a thing. Stop. Right here. Everyone knows the most interesting things about fascists was their magic. Fascists have magic, huh? Several maps have been attached to the bulletin board, hidden inside the alcove. They're held up by small pins. The boards come loose from one corner. Let's try this challenge. We can... oh, it's a steel thing. Alright, well, let's save first before we try it. I thought we were, like, memorizing it, but we're stealing it, so that's fine. Boop. I'm gonna reload, try again. I really don't want to fail multiple times. Excuse me, I have a hiccup. Multiple times at this thing. I just want the map at this point, I think. Boop. Come on, it's a 70% chance. Clearly we should be able to get it in at least 2 attempts. 72% is not that low of a percent. That's like a B- or so. To be fair, it's been a decade since I've been in school, so... You peek at the storekeep, waiting for her to be distracted. When she's not looking, you deftly rip the map off the bulletin board and pocket it. You are now the proud owner of a map of Martinez, which, to be honest, didn't even cost that much. That's true, it was only 70 cents and we took it anyways. Biographies of famous people. No, we don't need that. We need the book for the cockatoo. That is our task, apparently. Let's do the cockatoo one first. And then we'll do the medical book later. It's only 420. I think that's what it was. Something like that. No. It's gotta be here somewhere. Look through the display of books. Rows and rows of Helm Delarman blur your vision. Some of the titles are A Man from Hemdal, and The Mammoth Riders, Men from Hemdal Return to Hemdal, and the Slipstick Men from Hemdal and the Hemdal Man. Do any of the books call to me? Nothing. Nothing of interest. Only silence and the cosmic background of pain radiation. Okay. We're just looking for this cockatoo book first. We'll figure out that other thing later. Although we've searched all the bookshelves and they weren't there. What's this? Gift books and molten candy. I love candy. I want candy so badly right now. Maybe it's this bookshelf. Did we miss this bookshelf on the way up? Dick Mullen. Oh no. Let's look through the display of books for Dick Mullen. Thrilling tales of spycraft and daring do. Crime fiction is a disgrace, an asinine misrepresentation of the physical attributes of the arduous everyday work of actual police officers. These books greatly overstate the excitement of police work, glossing over how long it takes to actually follow up on leads and eliminate dead ends. What's more, they completely ignore the psychological hardships of year after year coming into contact with people during the worst days of their lives. Not a single mention of all the stress this work creates upon the officer's family. Detective fiction doesn't tell the truth at all. Now, would you like a list of the books on the shelves? Sure thing. You see Dick Mullen on the job. Get me Mullen. The Salward Adventures of Richard P. Mullen. Dick Mullen and the Murder in the Orchard. The Sordid Affair of Dick Mullen. A killing is declared. Dick Mullen in the Murder House. The Final Case of Dick Mullen. An Obvious Lie. Dick Mullen in the Clock Tower. The Ordeals of Dick Mullen. Dauntless Dick. Dick Mullen's Funeral Pyre. The Murder of Dick Mullen. Dick Mullen dies? Oh no, it turns out he faked it to solve a case. Okay, let's stop now. Wait, there's one single book there. Maybe that's the one I need. Ah, here we go. From A to Zreek, a guide to a well-behaved cockatoo. A sulfur-crested cockatoo sits on the cover, its beak slightly open. It looks as if the bird is calling out to the book title, From A to Zreek, a guide to a well-behaved cockatoo. I flipped through the pages. Turns out there are so many different cockatoo species and they all have behavioral problems. You don't have behavioral problems, that's garbage. What about this guide to cockatoos, storekeeper? It's a must-have if you own a cockatoo. Heard they're quite capricious. I'm taking it. You wait for the storekeeper to be distracted, and when she's not looking, you haul the tome of cockatoos into your pocket. It's quite a challenge, but eventually the guide to cockatoos is yours. Splendid effort. Let's go outside and read it. Or we can just go around the corner and read it, really. We don't need to leave. Let's interact with this book of cockatoos. I have a feeling it's important. A cockatoo is a parrot with an erectile crest found on the Siminin Islands and southern Face-à-la-Mer. Known for their intelligence and general precociousness, cockatoos are popular birds in aviculture. However, they often exhibit various behavioral issues. Okay, tell me more. The book talks about the delicate nature of twos, as well as introducing some of the more popular species. Among the bird enthusiasts, the funeral cockatoo, the major majestic cockatoo, the most common, the bang-bang cockatoo. It's colorfully illustrated. What problems do these birds have? Where to even begin? All cockatoos are known for their needy natures, requiring attention for at least 2 full hours a day. They love to talk. They've been described as lovable clowns who just don't know how to wrap up. Could handle that. It would be nice to have someone to talk to when I'm feeling lonely. Pet owners also report moodiness, loudness, and hostility, reoccurring issues. If left unsatisfied, cockatoos may scream non-stop and pluck feathers or become aggressive. Alright, that's pretty bad. Anything else? It's not recommended to get a cockatoo if you're not able to cook them food every day and give them full care they need. These birds will never understand that you have a life of your own. Yeah, well, there's gotta be something great about cockatoos. You're right, cockatoos are magnificent creatures. They love to perform, cuddle, show off, and will even scream for fun, often as loud as up to 135 decibels. Ouch, that must hurt. Not great for the neighbors. Performing, yes, birdie. How about the funeral cockatoo? This is yellow-tailed black cockatoo. Its specific name, Cicadus? Anyways, funeris, relates to its dark and somber plumage. This bird looks as if it's dressed for a funeral 24/7. There's something indisputably ominous about it. Cool. How about the major majestic? Perhaps the most impressive of all species, the endangered major majestic cockatoo is often described as the most flamboyant bird in the jungle. Its pink-colored wings and flowing crest embellishing its proud and bumptious nature. In the words of poet Sir James Fournier, few birds more enliven the monotonous hues and verdant forest than this big, bold, and beautiful species. How about the Bang Bang one? Despite its banging name, the Bang Bang cockatoo is actually the shyest of the species, common in almost all Seminoese forests, as well as zoos and homes all over the world. Its plumage is mainly grey and white. The Seminoese name Bang Bang is thought to be of onomatopoeic origins. Honestly, it does sound a bit like me. Yes, but these cockatoo species are also different. Which one are you? The funeral cockatoo, in its darkness, can only truly grasp the depths of my doom-laden soul. That's my heraldic bird, apparently. You're right. You're Cicadus funeris embodied. This ominous bird belongs on your heraldry. Okay. The worn map features the patchwork grid of the streets of Martinez with directions at two appropriately touristy locations. Year 48 resides in the upper right corner. Trace a path through the grid. Your finger moves through the various streets across Rue de Saint-Ghislain and Rue de Saint-Espère, over Saint Brun and Martinez North. Finally coming to a halt on the spot where you are currently standing, although the map gives you no such indication itself. For a more detailed map, go to your journal, then map. Okay. We've done that one. We also have the fractured bullet and a photo of tattoos, but we'll deal with those later. It's time. The time is now. What time? The time for the show for... I don't know what that means. The hollow time of fear and disintegration. A countdown has begun. All will collapse on itself. The world will disappear into a single grain of blackness. All sound will meet it. All life will scream. What is that? Yeah, I can't read that either. Wait, when did this countdown begin? Monday morning, the moment you arrived in this reality. You are the first crack in the sheer face of God. From it you will spread. This is because of the sane world ending that I've been saying, isn't it? Yes, you spoke the words of... whatever. And the house of Pericarnassus. Items, people, even words will tumble. All will lose its meaning in the coming years. That is why you have marked yourself. I do think the world might end soon. Cop of the apocalypse. The face of the woman fractures. They'll be heard killing. We will become vapor. Which means we have a new thought. Let's get that unlocked and put that into our personhood. Cop of the apocalypse. -1 rhetoric for now because we're a rambling madman, but the research time will happen. It's going to be fine. Everything's going to be good. No concerns. We have so many thoughts in our heads. It's going to be wonderful. We're also at the end of our video, so we're going to call it here. Like always, if you have any suggestions or comments, please leave them below. Otherwise, I'll see you next time. Take care.